When crude oil prices returned to pre-war baselines following recent ceasefire agreements, American motorists expected immediate relief at the pump. Instead, national retail gas prices remained pinned near historical highs, touching $4.03 per gallon on July 20, 2026, and continuing upward through mid-August. Political rhetoric pointed toward the Strait of Hormuz, but a deep investigation into Securities and Exchange Commission filings, Energy Information Administration price data, and refinery utilization metrics reveals a completely different story. The real driver was not a crude oil shortage. It was an historic expansion in refining crack spreads. The profit margin refiners earn converting raw crude into usable fuel. Brent crude input costs remained virtually flat, moving just 1 cent per gallon before and after the conflict, while refining margins surged from 44 cents to $1.45 per gallon, accounting for nearly the entire pump price increase consumers experienced nationwide. 4 major United States refiners, including Marathon Petroleum, Valero Energy, and PBF Energy, generated a combined $14.96 billion in operating income during the second quarter of 2026, up from $3.51 billion during the same quarter in 2025. That represents an $11.4 billion earnings jump in a single quarter. Simultaneously, Ukrainian drone strikes destroyed roughly 1/3 of Russia's domestic refining infrastructure, pushing Russian processing down to 3.6 million barrels per day, the lowest throughput since May 2002. Moscow then instituted an outright diesel export ban on July 8, 2026. Domestically, over 636,000 barrels per day of United States refining capacity was permanently retired since 2019, removing critical supply buffers. Distillates, meaning diesel and heating oil, accounted for 47% of the total margin expansion, hitting freight networks and public institutions hardest across the country. Independent trucking operators reported diesel surges exceeding $1.50 per gallon within weeks. A mid-sized regional fleet operating 44 trucks absorbed approximately $7,000 in additional weekly overhead, pushing smaller logistics firms toward insolvency. In Yakima, Washington, a school district operating 60 buses faced an unexpected $213,000 annual fuel cost increase, equivalent to 2 full-time teacher salaries in a district where student poverty reaches 86%. Despite widespread public anger, a content analysis of 96 mainstream news articles revealed an 8-to-1 narrative imbalance favoring geopolitical framing over refining margin coverage. On June 24, 2026, the White House directed the Department of Justice to investigate price gouging. 9 days later, the case was referred to state attorneys general because no federal price gouging statute exists. Since refiners operated at 94% capacity and disclosed everything accurately, no federal laws were broken, leaving consumers entirely exposed.